Welcome to the Trusted Advisor Show. In this week's episode, I sit down with Alex Penduck, one of the top personalized insurance agents in the country, and he shares his best tips and strategies for protecting your most valuable assets. Coming up right now. Hello and welcome everyone to the Trusted Advisor Show. My name is Rob Giacomin and I am your host. And in this week's episode of the Trusted Advisor Show, I have a very special guest. But if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, C-suite, or VIP, you are going to want to tune in to this episode, because if you have personal assets and you're looking for truly a trusted advisor and an opportunity to protect the things that matter most in your life, stay tuned and listen to what my special guest has to say. Coming up right now. Welcome back, everyone, to the Trusted Advisor Show. Again, my name is Rob Giacomin, and I'm your host. And today I have a very special guest, which I'm truly excited to share with all of you. And this person I can call a true friend. He's also somebody I work very closely with, and truly epitomizes the idea that we talk about on the show of being a trusted advisor. And our goal and our mission on this show is to always provide you with value. So, and that's business owners, entrepreneurs, anyone out there who is looking to really grow their business and take it to a whole new level. That's really, we want to be of value and help you make a positive impact. And that's always been our mission. So bringing on someone like my guest today, I'd like to introduce you to Alex Penduck. And Alex is, I work with Alex. He's truly a high performer in his position. And I know he's very modest. He doesn't talk about this very much, but so much so that he is actually, in my opinion, I've been in this industry a long time. He is truly in the elite category of producers. And he literally blows away most commercial insurance producers in terms of production and what he's able to create in terms of the customer experience. And I'll let him talk about it more today. But welcome, Alex, to our show. And we're very blessed to have you. And we're looking forward to having a great conversation and learning more about you and what you have, the wisdom and knowledge that you have to share with people who are listening and or watching the show today.
Well, hey, Rob, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. It's a great show. Everybody needs trusted advisors. And so you're bringing a lot of value. And so I hope that people that listen and tune in really understand just the value that you guys are bringing.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Now, let me give you a little bit of a background real quick so we set the stage, and when we'll dive deep into the topic today, Alex, and what we're going to talk about is, there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of personal assets, and that could be physical assets, it could be things that are important to them in their life, and now more than ever before, because of what we're going through, it is so critical to really put yourself in a position where you're protecting those things that matter most in your life. So business owners, entrepreneurs, these folks also have personal assets. So I know our focus always is, it seems to be on our show is talking about business tips, tools, and strategies to help you be successful. But there's also an element of, wait a minute, what about the personal line side? And Alex, that is your area of expertise and specialty is helping people to protect things in their lives on a personal line side. And by the way, Alex heads up our personal lines team. And, he is, and I can speak to this because he won't tell you this, but Alex is an incredible leader and somebody who has commanded the respect of our team and our organization. And he has a great story. So one of the things we want to do is get to know you better and learn about your journey and learn about your story, because that's really powerful. So Alex, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about how you got into the industry, and then transitioning that a little bit about yourself and how you were able to succeed in an industry that is, let's be honest, it's not the easiest it's not the easiest industry to be successful in, but you found out a way to really make it happen and provide an incredible customer experience as part of your journey to success.
Yeah, so my journey is probably very different to a lot of people, but this is what I find out with insurance. Most people in insurance didn't go to school to be in insurance. They fell into insurance, and that's my story as well. I never, I didn't wake up one day and think, you know what, my dream in life is to be an insurance agent, to be an insurance advisor. But I fell into it, and when I fell into it, I found out it is a great career. It has a sometimes a pretty negative identity about it. People think, oh, just sleazy insurance salesman, just trying to sell me something. But the reality is what we do actually it protects lives and
Mhm.
protects assets, and it enables people to be able to put their head on the pillow at night and have peace and knowing that if the worst was to happen, it's going to be okay. And I didn't know that before I got into the industry. But my story is a little unusual. I grew up in the UK, and I never thought I'd leave the UK. But at the age of 24, I fell in love with a girl who lived in Springfield, Missouri, of all places. And what do young guys do when they are in love? They do crazy things,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So they don't think rationally, they don't think logically. So I quit my job. I was in recruitment at the time. Quit my job, sold everything I had, and I moved to the United States. To be with the one that I loved. The good news on this story is I'm still with that lady 15 years later.
That's
We
good.
have a family. We have a great life. So it was a huge risk I took, but it paid off. So I'm happy to say that. But my background was actually in the church. I was on staff at churches, a mega church, some smaller churches. But in 2008, 2009, really started to sense the feel of moving careers, which wasn't a good time to do because if you remember, the
Mm,
economy had tanked
right.
and there were no jobs. I mean, it was a little like right now, but even worse because nobody saw a way out of this thing.
Yeah.
So I answered an ad on Craigslist. Does anybody even use Craigslist anymore? I'm not,
I
I'm not
don't think
sure.
so.
Yeah, but Craigslist, and the ad was for some customer service person at some local insurance agency. I didn't even know what an insurance agency was. I thought you just called a 1-800 number, went online and got insurance. I didn't know there were local people who sold insurance. So I went and I interviewed. The pay was lousy, and I got the job. But I just needed a job at the time, just kind of while I was figuring out what I was to do. And what the job was a CSR, customer service representative, at this insurance agency called WSMT Insurance. And I started discovering about the insurance industry, and my eyes were opened to it. And I stayed in that role, in that customer service role, for a good 4 years. Um, but I also sold on the side as well because, like I said, the pay was lousy, so it wasn't enough. And so I kind of supplemented my income by servicing in the day, but also going around my friends and my acquaintances and the people that I met and sold insurance to them as well. So I was kind of doing both roles, the sales and the service on the side. And then probably 5, 6 years ago, I transitioned into full time sales, and came out of just the everyday service part. And since that was the best decision I ever made, and I found that my business has thrived since then. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a little bit of my story.
Well, I know you to be extremely passionate about what you do and having a servant mentality. And that's truly, again, that's one of those things. If you look at characteristics of a true trusted advisor, first and foremost, they're putting themselves behind the needs of the client. And you brought up a really interesting point. You kept referring to the word sales. Let's dive a little deeper into that because there I think dispelling the myth of, that dirty word sales. I think people especially in this day and age, they have a negative connotation to the word sales and salesperson. So they always feel like, hey, this guy's calling me up and, he's going to try to sell me something. But what I found from working with you is entirely the opposite experience. The experience that I see is you truly provide a path to add value to that person's life first and foremost in a servant mentality. And then, but just by the nature of all the things that you're able to do for that person. And by the way, this is not a sales pitch for Alex. This is actually the truth. He really lives and breathes this. And otherwise, we wouldn't have you on the show because this is what we're trying to share with people is like what a true trust advisor is. There's so many choices you can make. For example, you can buy stuff online, right? You can buy and purchase. And I want you to talk about this a little bit and why this is one of the things, mistakes that a lot of people make, especially even, the VIPs of the world who have a lot of assets. They're just making a purchasing decision and basically treating it as a commodity and going online. That's the biggest mistake, in my opinion. It's the biggest mistake you can make when trying to protect those things that matter most to you. So, Alex, talk about how the industry's changed, and then how your unique process is so critical to the customer experience.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say is everybody's in sales, right? I
True.
mean, we hate the word sales, but everybody's in sales. Your doctor is in sales. Your dentist is in sales. I mean, everybody's in sales. You go to the grocery store, that what they're selling stuff. I mean that's how people make money, by selling things. Um, but there's a difference in what you're selling. So I got a 5-year-old son at home, and he is infatuated with the commercials that come on Nick Jr. when he watches them, and everything. Dad, I need that. I need that. I need that. He's been sold, right? But
Yep.
there's different. But that's just a commodity. He
And then
doesn't
he
need
tries to
that.
sell you too.
And then he tries to sell me, and he's great at
He's
it.
really good
I'll
at
be
it too,
honest.
by the way.
He gets most of the stuff that he wants, but I try to say no, but it's hard. But that's just a commodity, you
Yeah.
know. And for me, I'm a salesperson, but I would find it very hard to sell something that people don't need and doesn't affect people's life as much, right? When it comes to things like healthcare and insurance, even legal matters, you are selling something that is not only vital and important, but it is enabling people to have a better life,
Yep.
and to live their life to the full. And so when it comes to insurance, I don't mind selling it because I know it's not just getting money from somebody, because it's actually giving somebody something that they essentially need.
Mhm.
And so that's the way I see them, right? So when you sell to somebody, and you can be a commercial producer, you could be a personal lines producer. What we mean by producer, insurance advisor.
Right.
You, you can be either of those. But if you're not looking at the individual person and making it personable to them, and seeing through their eyes, not your eyes, then you're not going to be successful. And so we have this value in our agency. We have a list of 12 values. One of them, which I like the most, it's this: it's make it personable.
Yep.
Make it personable. And what we mean is, when you are on the phone to a client, or you're talking to a prospect, or you're just out and about and someone asks you an insurance question, put yourselves in their shoes. Don't think like a salesperson. Don't think like someone who I've got all this work to do and everything. Don't think of somebody as a commodity. Put yourself in their shoes. It's a real life person with real life issues, real life situations,
Yep.
and so that's what I see in life. And then one of my personal values in life is to always see the best in people, not the worst. And
Yep.
so you put those two things together, and it comes out of, like you said, Rob, a servant mentality of I want to serve these people and make sure that they are getting the best products that they can for the assets that they have. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of my philosophy in insurance and also in life as well. Now, what you find in insurance, people think it's a commodity. And so they see it as just this transaction that they're doing because they have to get it. The DMV or the NBA says they have to get car insurance. They don't see the value in it. Their mortgage company says, I have to get home insurance. So I'm just going to get it. I don't want to pay it. I don't like it. But really, what it's doing, it is protecting you and it's giving you peace so that if the worst was to happen, you're going to be okay.
Yep.
And people don't understand that because they just go online and just try to get the cheapest price they can, and often they don't get the cheapest price because they don't know the ins and outs of insurance, and so they get a product and they don't even know what it is, and then it can be very dangerous. And I've seen high net worth people who have millions of dollars who haven't thought through their insurance, and when they've come to us, or we've looked at their insurance and we see so many gaps and they cannot believe the gaps that they have, and they thought, well, I thought I knew about insurance. Well, they didn't.
Right. And it's a whole different world. I mean, because
Yeah,
I know you probably have this experience. Most people, when they think about insurance, they make a decision, they purchase, and it's out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
But even when you're talking about high net worth or VIPs, there's a lot of assets. They have a lot of things and a lot of moving parts that have to be considered. And you know, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? Unless you do a very thorough review of everything on a regular basis, and you just don't get that kind of trusted advisor relationship when you're just making purchasing decisions either online today. And I get it. I know how easy it is. And trust me, it's the technology is not going away anytime soon. So we understand it. It's a fact of life, and we're living with it. But you really need to have someone on your team who is a true partner in helping you manage those assets and those most important things in your life. Because should the worst thing happen, and God forbid, we don't want that to be the case, but making sure that you have peace of mind, that you are properly protected, and someone else has a vested interest in your success because they're being served in a positive way by someone like yourself is absolutely critical. So that being said, what are some of the top mistakes that you see people are making? Because this is really critical. I want to go into this a little bit. Is number one, what do people need to be looking out for? So let's create a real life scenario. I'm a business owner, successful contractor, and I've got maybe two homes and maybe a summer home at the beach, uh, you know, cars, toys, all those different things. What is the one most glaring mistake that you often see even VIPs making who are really smart people, right? They're running businesses.
yeah.
What are you seeing?
That I think the number one thing would be that people see their risks through their own eyes, not other people's eyes. And what I mean
Mm,
by that is you say, I'm a good driver. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm good, right? I'm on the road. I'm safe, and I'm not on my phone. I'm good. I've never had a claim in
mm,
20 years. 25 years. I'm good. I don't need that coverage. And then one day something happens, and you know their life's torn apart because they had a claim, they maybe fell asleep at the wheel, or something happened, a bug fell in, it came into their car and hit their face, distracted them. Suddenly they had a head-on collision with somebody, or hit a pedestrian. I mean, those sort of things are catastrophic, right?
mhm,
That they can destroy someone's financial stability in one moment when something like that happens. So people don't think just because you're safe doesn't mean others around you are safe as well. They also think that their kids are better drivers than what they actually are as well. And so, oh, he's fine, but you don't see him when he's turned around the corner and he's out of your sight,
Right.
or she's out
Just
of your
racing down the
sunlight.
road.
And we see so many. We see people who have more money who just will give their kids high powered cars because they can without thinking, is my child actually mature enough to drive this vehicle? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a hard one because people don't want to hear that. But the reality is if you're giving your 18-year-old child a high-powered vehicle, that's not very mature to do that. And the
Yeah. It's not
reason
very
is,
responsible.
in your business, would you give person your best client? No, probably not. And so people have to think, okay, just because I'm good doesn't mean other people are good as well. Same with their homeowners as well. Okay, well, I don't let anybody onto my property, or I'm very careful where people come onto my property. But what about the neighborhood kid who sneaks over your fence and comes onto your property? You try to convince a judge that that you're not liable for that, and I won't want to take those odds at all. So what people don't always realize is they don't have enough coverage. They don't have enough liability coverage should the worst happen.
Yeah.
Because we live in a society where people are very sue happy and they will sue you left, right, and center. And just depending on the court and the judge that you get, you could be found liable for something that you never even thought that you would ever have to pay any money out on. And so that's where an insurance advisor is going to help you. They're going to help you see what you can't see.
Yep. And you just can't get that level of connection and relationship when you're transacting business online. I mean, it just
Right.
that's the reality. And I've referred a lot of business to you, and the one thing that I hear from a lot of the target demographic that we're really talking about here is I just want somebody who is there for me and
Right.
understands my business, understands the things that are going on in my life, and has a good grasp of things in a more holistic way. Can I pick up the phone and call this person, and will I get a phone call back? Um, if I call, or my wife or husband calls, are they going to talk to a human being? Am I going to get a return phone call? And am I going to is someone going to answer my email? That is the stuff that I hear the most. And I know we talk about customer service, and that's like a cliche, but in reality, I think that's probably the thing that I hear the most is I need to be able to go to that person, talk to a human being, and truly get advisement
Yep.
that is in my best interest, not in that person's best interest. And that's what I hear the most is I need a trusted advisor. And I'm just not getting I've had people switch from, I know you've experienced that. You've had people make a move from like, hey, I speak to this person maybe once a year or at my renewal time. But what I've known you to be different, and again, this is not a sales pitch for you. This is actually such a compliment because it ties into what we're all about on the Trust Advisor Show is having somebody who they can turn to who isn't going to ghost them once something is sold, but actually be accessible. And I know you have that customer experience model, that the customer experience model that's built into how you become successful.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that is to do with my background, how I started in insurance. So I
Hmm.
started on that customer side, right? So I dealt with everything after the sale to begin with,
Yep.
and I realized the sale is so much more than just a transaction. Now you're building a relationship with people. And I would hate ever to be that guy who just sells you something and then just passes you on and you never hear from him again. Yeah, we
Yep.
have customer service people in our office because they're better at than I am. They can process things quicker and better than I am. They're in the office all the time. But still, I never would want to lose that relationship with somebody. See, the thing about having a trusted advisor is they will ask you questions you will never ask of yourself. They will help you think through things that you would never be able to think through. They will help you to be able to bring to life scenarios that you wouldn't even believe would be true. And that's what a trusted advisor will do for you. A trusted advisor is someone who isn't after your money, that they want to come alongside you and help you to make sure that you can have peace. And that's, I think that's our purpose.
Yeah.
That's our calling as insurance agents. We want to be able to give people the peace of mind to know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
That when the worst happens, it's going to be okay. And this whole pandemic that we're going through has shown that when crisis happens, people aren't okay, right? I mean, through all this thing, people have panicked, and there's all these different fear levels of some people, they're not fearing at all. Some, it's the end of the world as we know it. Um, and it shows that when problems come and calamity comes upon people's lives, they they don't know what to do. And so, as insurance advisors, if we can make sure we have the foundation in place, we have everything ready if and when the worst happens, hoping in that it will never happen, but if it does, then they can have peace of mind.
Yeah. Man, that is so powerful. I mean, what else can you say, right? I mean, that's truly the essence of being that trusted advisor and having that relationship with somebody. So, Alex, absolutely, that is extremely powerful stuff. And that is truly what it's all about. Is when things get tough, you know who your trusted advisors are because you're getting that phone call, you're getting an email, and just maybe checking in and saying, "Hey, I'm not calling to sell you anything. I'm calling to ask and check in to see how you're doing.
Yeah.
How is your family holding up? How is your Hey, how's your business doing? Is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to be of service to you in helping to support your goals and your mission in your business in your life?" And that's truly the essence of a trusted advisor. So, Alex, if as we're landing the plane here, uh, is there anything in particular? Is there one thing, or no, let me ask you this. What is the one thing that you would want people to walk away with today that maybe they could take action on? Or maybe it's something that they can truly think about or start to ponder in their own lives. And what's the one thing that you want to share?
It's a really good question, Rob. I mean, there's so many things I could think of, but I think maybe the one thing would be that that especially for insurance, insurance, it isn't the big bad wolf, who comes and takes money out of your paycheck, each month. It's not as bad as what people think. Insurance is there to protect you.
Yep.
And so, what assets do you need to protect? Now, there's some people that they're fine with not protecting their assets, right? I mean, there's furniture I have in my house or I have outside when it rains, and it rained today, and I woke up and I realized my outdoor furniture was outside. And this was some expensive stuff. I mean, for some people, I think it was cheap, but for me, it was expensive. And so I ran out in the rain and got everything and brought it in because I didn't want to get it wet. But there was some other outdoor furniture out there that I didn't care. I mean, if I lost it, I lost it. I don't care. It's replaceable, right? So
Hmm.
my risk tolerance, right? So what is your risk tolerance? If you were to lose something, what would be the end of the world for you? What would be, oh, that's okay, I can replace that. And as insurance advisors, that's what we want to help you with. We want to help you understand, okay, what's my risk tolerance? What do I need to protect? And what am I okay with not protecting?
Yeah.
And my one thing would be, think through, what do I need to protect in my life? What is protected? What isn't protected? Or what do I think is protected, but there may be some gaps in that protection,
Yeah.
in that my personal financial armor? Where are my gaps? And if people can start thinking like that, then they're going to have so much more peace of mind, and they're going to understand the insurance process so much clearer than just, hey, I'm just going to go online because I have to pay for it, and I don't
Yeah.
want to pay for it, and I'm mad that I have to write this check, once a year or every month to my insurance, company. When you start to understand, this is protecting what you have worked hard and sometimes all your life to gain. We're protecting that so you don't lose it.
Yeah. Man, there's so much wisdom in all that, and I certainly would love to have you again on another episode of the show, and maybe dive deeper into some of these topics and some of these, some of these I mean, incredible wisdom, because this is the kind of stuff that you don't think about when you are making a purchase decision where it's like, well, wait a minute, I don't value this. Um, I think you've really opened up even my eyes to how critical it is to look at all the areas of your life that you need to have protected.
Right.
Everything from, working with a good CPA to an attorney to, insurance advisor to financial planners, all these folks who were talking about building not only your business fortress of relationships, but also your personal business or your personal fortress of relationships.
Yeah.
The two go hand in hand. There's extremely important to build those relationships and to have that solid foundation in your business and in your life. And if you guys have found value in this episode and in past episodes we've done, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you. We'd love to hear back from you and get some feedback. The other thing I want to share with you is the question of the week. What here's the question of the week, because we always do this, Alex. What specifically are you looking for in a personal trusted advisor? Think about that. What specifically are you looking for in a personal trusted advisor? That's someone like Alex, for example, in your life, or your tax preparer or your CPA, someone of that type of trusted advisor. What are you looking for? Ask yourself that question, and please comment in the comments below, and then I would love to get that feedback from everyone. So Alex, thank you so much for being part of this show. We are truly blessed. Love to have you on again, and we wish everybody health, happiness, and prosperity. And I really appreciate it. And take care, everybody.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.